What is up, everybody? My name is Reggie, and today we are back with another roundup talking about the games I played this holiday season, November and December. We're gonna start with some games that I crowdfunded through Button Shy, and they reprint a lot of their games, and so I got two that I've really had my eye on here. Number one is Forest Sky, and this is another bird game. If you've been watching my roundups, you know I am trying to collect every bird game out there. So this would be number 7. I heard that it is basically Fantasy Realms, but with birds of prey, and so that made me have to buy it immediately. Tried it once, I'll have more thoughts on it in the future. The other one is Circle the Wagons here. This is one of the most highly regarded Button Shy games, and again, another game I'll have more thoughts on, but I'm really excited because it came with two solo scenarios, Lone Cowboy and Lone Cowboy Rides Again. So excited to try those out in the future. So number 1 and 2 are from Button Shy. My next game comes from one of my buddies. Shout out to Papa Phil, who traveled to Japan to get me Whale to Look. That's the only reason he went, was to get this game for me. So I do have the Japanese version. It does have English rules in here. This is from Oink Games. And so it should be coming to the US in January 24, but holy moly, I think this is going to be a hit. Like, this has this really interesting deduction guessing mechanic. It is so cute. It's about whale watching. There's so many little components in this box. Oink Games has missed a little bit lately, but from Scout and now this, I mean, they just really have some bangers. More to come on Whale to Look. The other small box game I bought on sale on a whim from Game Nerds or Boardlandia, I don't remember, I like those online retailers sometimes, is Peep Mots, another bird game. So if you're keeping track, that's number 8 here for the bird count. We're just gonna keep plugging along, getting them all. The designers are Matt Riddle and Ben Pinchback, who actually did the dice games like Three Sisters, Fleet the Dice Game. So that kind of got me intrigued, but I do want to shout out 2 commenters, Lisa and Board Game Safari, who recommended this under a couple of my other videos. So I'm excited. We're at number 8 for bird games. Stay tuned for an official bird video down the line. Getting into some of the big boys here, this is something, one of the games I have been hearing non-stop about. This is the White Castle, if I can hold it properly here. I mean, by DeVere Games, not that big of a box, like, you know, size of my head, and there is so much game in here. I watched the Brothers Murph playthrough on this, and I am so excited to play this. I honestly, if I can't convince the Queen to play, I will be trying it out solo, but I have not played it yet. The White Castle, I think it's going to be a lot. It has been a lot of people's game of the year already, but I think it's really gonna hit for me personally. And I actually got to visit this place when I went to Japan 6 whole years ago. Yeah, peep that picture there. Next is a game that I adore, have played on BGA many times, and I got it on sale during Black Friday, and that is Seven Wonders Architects. I've talked so much about this game. Check out some videos. I'll put some links in the description, but lovely, lovely game. Really never get tired of it, and so happy to have it finally in my collection. The final 2 are some big boys that I purchased for myself, and number 1 is The Fox Experiment. I mean, check this bad boy out. By Elizabeth Hargrave, co-designed with this guy named Jeff Fraser. I am a huge fan of Elizabeth Hargrave, as you all know, and I just really wasn't sure if the gameplay would be for me. The theme definitely drew me in, but after watching a few videos on this, I am most excited to play The Fox Experiment of all the new games. I haven't got my chance yet, and I did get the Kickstarter edition from my local game store. Shout out to Guardian Game here in Portland. Really excited about The Fox Experiment. And finally is a game that needs no introduction from me because I am a Challengers super fan. I got the sequel, Challengers Beach Cup here. It adds 8 new factions, a couple new mechanics. It's just so great. I actually get to talk about this a little bit on OFPG's holiday special, so check that out. Challengers 2, known as Challengers Beach Cup. All right, and my last few things for the haul here are my Christmas gifts, and I got some from family and friends, so I'm excited to show 4 games here. Number 1 is Downtown Farmers Market, which is great. I actually have a second copy of this, so for my anniversary in January of posting videos on the channel, I'll be giving away a copy of this. Great little puzzly game from Blue Orange. 2-player only Star Wars, the deck building game. I've heard so many great things about this. I think it's going to hit for a lot of my friends and myself as well. Excited to check that one out. All right, so moving on to the stats. And the stats here for a 2-month period, about 60 days, is that I got to play 92 times, 92 different plays of 51 games, and 22 of those games were new to me. So I would say it was a pretty great 2 months. Obviously, having time off and holidays gave more time to sit down and play some games with family. So it was really exciting to get all these games in, and I'm gonna share a few of my favorites and most played. Number one is Deep Dive. This is a game from AEG and Flat Out Games, and it's 1 to 6 players where you're penguins pushing your luck, diving deeper and deeper into the depths of the ocean to grab food, which is like shrimp and crabs and squid. And we were playing with my 8-year-old niece, and she just kept requesting this game, and it just hit as a family. 6 players is great. You know, there's straight up so much luck in it that the first time we played, not holding back at all, my niece won on her own by just being ballsy, basically. Probably shouldn't call my niece ballsy. By being bold and going to the deepest depths of the ocean. It just kept paying off for her, and that was really, really adorable to see. Deep Dive, I think, is a great family weight game. I could see that you could play it out, but if you need something that will just be good with like grandparents and grandchildren alike, I think really this might be the best game out there. My second most played game that I would like to highlight is Forest Shuffle. This game has been getting a lot of play from me since I added it to my collection recently, and I'm still playing it a lot on BGA. It is a combo-tastic, tag-filled game, nature themed, where you have to really manage your hand very well. It's very hand management focused, and you have to discard cards in order to play cards down, but the cards that you discard go to the clearing in the middle, which is basically a market. So you have to be careful which cards you're getting rid of to pay for the cards you want to play into your forest, because you might be giving those to an opponent. And this game has received some flack for being imbalanced, and I really want to shout out Rado, who talked about maybe designers and developers have a little more information and a little more ability to balance a game than you in your 10 or 12 plays, when they have tested this thing out 100 or hundreds of times, if not thousands. And a couple of the ones I hear is like the wolves and the deer are a little too OP. And when you play in person, at least, you have to a lot of times discard certain cards, a certain number of cards, and you can go through and manually pick some of these out. Very similar to Wingspan, getting rid of like the big 4 birds that are a little too OP. So I would really recommend that. I love this game, and I do think that it's not as imbalanced as some people out there are saying, especially when everybody's got the same experience level in the game. Then people are aware of what is really strong and not just freely giving away some of the strong strategies. So I really enjoy Forest Shuffle as a relaxing, like nature themed game that has a good amount of thinking with it as well. And my other most played game is Sea Salt and Paper. I just can't get enough of this game. Such a small box. I really want to highlight that I traveled with this across the country, and it's just been a great travel game. I obviously mentioned it as a stocking stuffer in my last video, but I don't think I can understate how great of a travel game this is. It's just a deck of cards. It's so lovely. My wife and I played it in the airport in a chair. You could play it on a plane easily. Loving Sea Salt and Paper. It just hits every time, and it's beautiful. I have a 20% win rate against my wife, so that should say a lot too. I keep losing this game and still am enjoying it so much. I'm gonna highlight 3 games that are new to me in this 2-month period here, and number 1 is Pan Am. This game came out in 2020. It's made by Funko Games. You can find it in Target, and it's about the famous airlines that went under Pan Am from the like 20s to I think it's like the 80s or so. This game is just fabulous. I just cannot believe how good it is. It's got stock markets, and it's got worker placement, and this beautiful map of the, and I just love that it feels like a board game. You have this big board. A lot of the games I talk about are card games, tableau builders, or dice games, and this one is just really feels like a traditional board game, and for how like approachable it is, I'm very impressed with the depth of strategy. And this game, spoiler alert, has shot up my rankings. I really enjoyed this game in just a few plays. I just really want to give a shout out to Board Game Hot Takes. Their podcast really talked about this game, and I had completely dismissed it, and I'm so glad that I gave it a shot, and I think I got it for a really good deal as well. So Pan Am from 2020, one of the new games to me that I've really been enjoying. And then spending time with family over the holidays, I actually got to play two games one that I've never played before and one that I haven't played since I've been tracking games since about 2021. That first one is Clue, a great game. I really think this classic game holds up. And just playing it with family, and you can still, as a serious gamer, quote unquote, still have a great time like deducing. I just love saying Colonel Mustard in the conservatory with the candlestick. I mean, it's just a classic game, and you can obviously tell because so many modern games have tried to recreate what that original game came up with, and Clue really still hits. I mean, I really want to make a video of like classic games that don't suck. Comment below if you think that would be interesting. And finally, new to me is a game we gifted my niece, and this is Sushi Roll by Phil Walker Harding. Praise be to PWH. This is like the dice version of Sushi Go, and as a Sushi Go big fan, I gotta say Sushi Roll really hits. There's this really nice mechanic of using the conveyor belt to move the dice to the next people, and my biggest complaint with Sushi Go is sometimes people draft their card and move the hand and it gets all jumbled and you don't know what turn it's on. And that is completely prevented with this game. It doesn't have as much complexity as Sushi Go Party, where you can swap out and customize the menu, but still, as just giving you what you want in terms of drafting and playing with younger people, wow, Sushi Roll really surprised me as a solid Phil Walker Harding game. I mean, but you know, that's what the man does. And finally, I just want to talk about two virtual games that I've been playing a lot lately. I've been playing a lot of this two-player game called District Noir, and it's another small box card game, and it's got this interesting push and pull mechanic of holding out and trying to grab the cards from the market before your opponent or at the exact right time, and it gives me a little bit of Jaipur vibes. I really love a two-player card game where timing is everything, and so I really recommend at least checking this one out on BGA. And the other is the hotness game. I still keep hearing people talk about this game, and that is Heat Pedal to the Metal, no pun intended. I've only played this virtually. I've seen copies at my local game shop, and I really just want to play it in person before I purchase it. But I am just loving and totally understanding why there's so much hype in this game. It is a deck builder that you're using, or I guess it's not a deck builder, it's a deck management game where you're using your cards to move along the track, and you have to shift gears to slow down around corners and then try to use as many cards as you can when there's a long straightaway, and it really gives you that race vibe. And I've played it real time and turn-based on BGA, and I just cannot wait to play this in person. I think it will hit even harder than it does. I'm already enjoying it virtually, but Heat Pedal to the Metal, I totally get the hype. All right, that's my roundup. I've got a lot of videos coming in the hopper, so thank you so much for being here. Have a great day, evening, night, time zone, whatever, and I will see you in the next one. All right, I'm gonna highlight